Welcome back to First Impressions. This is a show where my co-host Dash Hooper and I evaluate a new album each week with a few simple ground rules. First, it must be an album we've never heard before. Second, we're only allowed to play it once. After that, we write our notes and rate it in a variety of categories. And this album we're going to be looking at tonight is Sound and Color, the sophomore album by Alabama Shake. So Dash, how's it going tonight?
It is going excellent. I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. It was a race to get here and to get things going because I get off work in like 45 minutes before the show, and it's like a 35-minute drive home. But we're here. It's the wrong day if you're noticing that. We're on a different day because yesterday I was taking my oldest to a concert that was bought at Christmas time, so it was kind of
nice.
That was a Christmas present. And sometimes the shows end up getting bumped for concerts. That happens. It'll happen a few other times as well. But yeah, I'm here. We're set up. Now we can talk about Alabama Shake. So yeah, let's dig in like we always do with a little bit of their backstories, a little history of the band. So just give me 1 second. I don't see my... There we go.
While you're looking for that, I cannot believe we're on episode 20.
Yeah, that means 10 picks each. So that's crazy. Episode 20. We are moving along. Our next batch is we have some guest stars lined up for some of the shows on this one. Our next batch, we have a lot of requests. So I know Pops has been putting his request in for quite a while for the Dio's first album, Elf, I guess. Yeah, I mean we'll know more when we dig into it. And then we have 2 other requests, and we also have a few opportunities to talk with the bands again. So we have a couple of those that we're lining up. So I'm excited about that. It should be nice. Should be a lot of fun. I started kind of digging into. I thought, you know what? I'm going to start going way out on a limb and start picking some of the crazier stuff that I listen to. And those bands I find are a lot more cooperative when it comes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
To coming on, you know, it's like, all right, Taylor Swift's not coming on our show. You know, if she does,
maybe.
All of a sudden we're going viral. But you know, yeah. So
if I just happen to insult her enough, she might come on.
Yeah. So yeah, you're the first one online. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be digging into some Alabama Shakes tonight. As always, I got notes. I always have notes. Let me see. What is my page count this time? It is 12 pages. Now, granted, we're talking giant font because my vision isn't good if I write it in small font. So we're talking 12 pages of 23-point font, but still lots of notes. I'm sure I'll throw some couch metaphors in. They can always sneak their way in. But we always start with the history of the artist. So Alabama Shakes were founded in 2009 in Athens, Alabama, and that was when lead vocalist Brittany Howard met bassist Zach Cockrell, and they actually were playing music in high school. So they were playing music. They played in various bands, cover bands primarily in high school, and then Howard started working as a postal worker, but still had that inspiration for music. So they started to write songs in Brittany Howard's home, and they had influences from rock, from soul, from blues, and they were writing them after school. So, you know, it's crazy to think, like, you think you're going to start a high school band and 99% of them end up falling into nothing. And then that 1% becomes Alabama Shakes that was sitting in someone's living room or bedroom and, you know, cranked out Grammy-winning songs. So it can happen, you know, if you're a musician. Now, I'm not. I can't play an instrument at all, but those who can, you know, you can achieve it. It's a different world with that now. I mean, records don't sell anymore unless you're, you know, one of the major artists. I think Adele can still sell albums. Of course, we talked about Taylor Swift still moving album units, but it's a different world. But you can still find that success even you're just, you know, you start messing around in high school, and next thing you know, you have a successful band. So it happens less often than not, obviously, because there's, you know, countless high school bands out there and garage bands doing their thing and probably playing great music, a lot of them, but it's just the playing in front of the right crowd, the right person, the right agent, and boom, you explode. But yeah, they were trying to expand their sound when it was just the two of them, and they recruited Steve Johnson, who was an older musician, and he was their drummer, and then Keith Fogg, who had been playing in a lot of local bands. So actually, no, I reversed that. Johnson was high school age. Keith Fogg was a little older and loved their sound, and he was only going to be a live member, but then ended up recording in the studio with them anyway. So they have their lineup. They were rehearsing in a trailer in Athens and recorded their first demos above a record store. So yeah, you're talking the most DIY style of recording. I mean, even though they're not punk, they were living that punk life. You know, they're practicing in a trailer, they're recording over a record store. You know, they're not getting this, you know, high name, big money agent or you know, recorder. They're just doing their thing. They're going to do it in whatever way they can. And they were shaped by artists like Led Zeppelin, Otis Redding, AC/DC. And you can hear kind of all those influences throughout the music. So it was 2011 that they recorded a 4-song EP, which had You Ain't Alone, which was one of their bigger hits. That's kind of if you see them in concert, they're going to probably close out the main set or the encore with that one, because that's kind of their barn burner of a song. And yeah, that got attention of Justin Gage, who founded the blog Aquarium Drunkard. And I actually read the blog he does on satellite radio. I don't know if you have Sirius XM, but he does the show, or Sirius XMU, I guess, is the station, and he does a show where he plays kind of new and interesting music, and that's who discovered the band. And he does get a lot of views, and that's what got buzz going on in the scene. And at that point, they caught the attention of ATO Records and got signed in 2011 and started opening for bigger bands. They opened for Drive By Truckers. And I mean, that's one thing I'll have to say, like, with opening bands, I go to a lot of different concerts, and if an opening band is good, I'm immediately like, I want to know more about them. We talked about way back with the Soccer Mommy episode. She opened up for Vampire Weekend, and immediately I'm running to the merch booth like, ooh, I want this. I want more. And yeah, opening for big bands, it is really opening doors. I mean, granted, I'd say 75% of the crowd is going to be indifferent. They're like, we're here for the headliners. Just shut up, opener, and finish so I can see, you know, fill in the blank. But then there are those who, you know, like me, you discover it. And granted, like, everyone around me is just chattering, but I'm just interested in absorbing the music. And I think seeing Alabama Shakes, especially early performances, because Brittany Howard, if you've heard any of her live performances, I mean, she just belts out these notes. I mean, she just shakes the room with her voice. And seeing that, even if you're one of those indifferent ones, I think you could actually be pulled in by that. So
yeah,
continuing with that, they got signed in 2011 and started recording their first album, Boys and Girls, which that was the album I had heard before we covered this particular album. That was the album I knew that one pretty well. I had listened to it a lot. I saw them touring for that album, and I think they played a couple of new songs, which the intro was one of those songs that I happened to hear at the live show and figured, all right, I can put it into into our broadcast, because as of yet, YouTube hasn't caught any of the little live clips that I've snuck in there. So crossing fingers that they keep staying away from those.
Don't tell them.
All right. I just opened my damn big mouth. So yes, YouTube, I did not use a live clip from Alabama Shakes that I recorded at a concert in San Diego. I would never do such a thing. So yeah, but that's one of those things where their live performances started to get a lot of buzz, and they were nationally recognized. The album sold very well. They toured for it and then went on hiatus. So actually, no, they toured for it, and then it took them 3 years to record their next album. They spent a lot of time in the studio. They could have just blasted out 5 albums that sounded exactly like Boys and Girls, and the majority of their audience would have been perfectly happy. He's like, kind of just do your thing, rinse, repeat, and it would have worked. And then I think of bands like, even though I mean, I love the band Interpol, but they don't bring much originality into each new album. They kind of have a formula. They go with it. They make good songs that sound like that formula. I buy them. I mean, I'm not here to insult Interpol, but Alabama Shakes wanted to do something different, and that's why it took them 3 years to bring out their new album. So Sound and Color, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm not really going to dig into a lot of Sound and Color right now. Let's talk about it when I bring up the banner. So history of the album, Sound and Color. It's their second album, and they only released the 2. They haven't released anything else. They went on a hiatus after it, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So Sound and Color was their second album, released April 21st, 2015, still through ATO Records, and they wanted to do a departure. They wanted a broader range of sound. They wanted different styles. And in this album, you can hear those different styles. And when we really dig into the album, we'll talk about those. Do they work? Do they not work? You know, your opinions will vary. I know some people that absolutely hate the second album and love the first one, and they would have been happy with that. You know, let's just follow that formula. You know, gritty blues rock, do it again. Gritty blues rock, do it again. And they weren't happy with that. So they took that time, experimented 2 years in the studio to get this album out. And it was produced by Blake Mills, who had worked with Fiona Apple, which if you listen to any Fiona Apple music, hers is very different too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like Fiona Apple doesn't follow a simple formula, and she takes years between albums. And then John Legend, he also worked with him. John Legend, honestly, beyond the hits, I don't know much of John Legend, so I'm not one to call myself an expert on John Legend, but I'm sure they're well produced. So, and nice love songs. So they wanted to play around with the different styles, and the album did very well. It was a huge success. Critically, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it also was their final album. So after they released it, they toured for it. They toured a huge world tour, and then 2018 went on hiatus. So that kind of closes out the history of the band with this particular album. So let's talk about the reviews. I pulled up the Metacritic again, like I always do. If I can, I like to get that because it just kind of gives you the snapshot of what critics think. And we seem to be stuck on the 80 to like 83 Metacritic, and this one in 81. So here we are again, that same kind of sweet spot with Metacritic. Pitchfork, with their lovely decimal reviews, gave it an 8.1. They said it was a great expansion. Pitchfork didn't love their first album. Pitchfork rated the other one. They were kind of like, it's a rehash, blah. Pitchfork is more hipster than any hipster, and they're going to trash anything that feels kind of regular. And they then liked this one. They thought it was a thrilling reinvention of their sound. Rolling Stone, like, they seem to give every album that exists in the catalog of albums, they gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, I think every album we've looked at, Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Songs in the Key of Life, 4 out of 5. You know, that is their standard review. You rarely see anything hit 5 stars on Rolling Stone. I mean, it happens. They have to exist, but it's kind of like 4 out of 5, good enough. And that's what they gave it. They liked its ambition. They said it was pushing them farther out of just kind of that Southern rock comfort zone. Guardian gave it 5 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5. So they saw it as, you know, that one they gave it as top. NME gave it 9 out of 10. All Music 4.5 out of 5. AV Club gave it an A-. All of them kind of focusing on the reviews, talking about the fact that they did try something new, that they didn't just, you know, do the easy path, because the easy path would have been just 20 blues albums, you know, blues rock, Southern rock released over a span of 20 years, crank out one a year, you know, your fans will be happy. But, you know, perhaps unsatisfied with the members, so they didn't want to play with it. So that, the reviews were strong. There were some negative reviews saying, all right, they experimented, but it just doesn't work. There were
Yeah,
no outright negative reviews. The negatives were like 3.5. They were more mixed, not negative. I didn't find any absolute like this album is garbage, throw it in the trash bin reviews. The lows were that range.
Yeah, all my research showed it. Yeah, it was sitting at about that 3.5 range. Yeah. So I mean, we'll get into it in a minute. But if you find something negative about this album, I want to hear from the people that found something negative about this album.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about moments here or there.
Yeah,
but
I get
overall.
Moments,
yeah, it's well, we haven't spoiled, and this time I normally will talk a little backstage before we start the show, but I think we had like 3 minutes when I finally got the link sent out. So it was one of those, we don't have much time to kill on this one. So yeah, we didn't talk backstage, but I mean, I think if one is just a real stinker, then we'll start messaging each other through the week. Like, ooh, yeah, this one is rough. So that we didn't hit those. We didn't hit that one on this. So that is good. So now, a little bit first, what is your history with this band? So what is your background and history with them?
Just like, I mean, this is my first album. I mean, I've heard songs by them, but never connected that it was Alabama Shakes. But I had heard a couple of songs, especially the intro song on this album, Sound and Color. I've heard that a few times. But that's pretty much it. I was looking forward to this one when you told us this one was coming up. So just because of the style that we're getting ready to talk about this album was fantastic. I thought.
Oh yeah. I honestly, in the week that I was processing this album, it became an absolute obsession album for me, where it was like, I just wanted to hear more of it. It really, it did its job. I mean, playing it for a week, I guess we're kind of getting into overall thoughts ahead, but I think we can both say that neither one of us walked away like, all right, we're not ever wanting to hear that, never going to want to hear it again. So for me, I loved their first album. I played it and I went and saw them tour for it. And then I talked to a few people and they said, oh yeah, the second album's just horrible. And I think I was just afraid. I mean, I didn't trust my own instinct to say, all right, let me listen to it and judge for myself. And I just kind of wrote it off listening, because the two that had told me, they were absolutely passionately in love with the first album and hated the second. So I thought, wow, if they were that huge into it and they fell off that much, then maybe it's not worth visiting. So
right.
Yeah. I mean, but that's a good thing. As long as you're still alive and kicking, you can always discover it yourself. And I'm glad that we did. So I guess we can pull that right into overall thoughts time. So what were your thoughts on this album?
Man, how to put it? This, like, when you watch, have you ever like watched a TV show where you just when you sit there and hear the music and you're like, man, I know what would go good with this TV show. This is one of those albums. Like if you're watching Reacher or you're watching a cop show or one of the cop shows or procedural shows, Criminal Minds, something like this would be a great background album. What I mean by that is every song could go with something that's happening in a TV show. That's what I loved about it. And from the moment, like I said, it started off a little slow for a second, and then it just picked up for me. And from the first song to the last song, Sound and Color, all the way back to hold on, what's the name? Over My Head.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're just like sitting there going, yeah. And you got that jazzy, you got the blues, you got jazz, you got the rock, you got it all in there. The soul,
psychedelic, even a little punk thrown in at one point. It's like it really covers the spectrum of musical influences. It's all over the map, and in my opinion, that's a beautiful thing. Now, the opinion of those people I talked to, it wasn't.
You can hear some Zeppelin in there, some Zeppelin
Mm-hmm.
influence. You can hear some Rolling Stones influence in a couple of the songs.
Yeah.
Just so that's when you could sit there and those are your influences for an album, and
Mm-hmm.
you're putting those musical influences in there. You're going to have me hooked from the beginning. And my first listen to was beautiful. From when we get to the skips, it's going to be few and far between for skips, but that's
Yeah.
coming up later in the show. But I just again, you have the run test, I have the head bob test. If I'm
Yes. We
bouncing
both
my
have our
head,
test for it. Yeah.
if I'm
So,
bouncing my head and getting into it,
mm-hmm.
it's a fantastic album. And
Oh yeah.
uh, this is one again, like you could throw it on repeat. And for me, this is just a dash opinion. For me, I don't know if I could get tired of the album.
Yeah, I
I don't know
honestly
if I could.
agree. Yeah, I'm right there with you because I was doing WonderCon all weekend. So when I'm doing the con, I didn't get a hotel. I'm driving back and forth. It's like a
Yeah.
45-minute drive. I think I played this album 3 times out of the 6 back and forths that I needed to do. And I'm just like, ooh, I need a little more of that. And yeah, when we get to top songs and things like that, I have so many things to say. And it's like this album, you kind of, as you listen to it, you discover more. You discover more things that you love, more things that you might have missed the first time around. So it was a bold move. So with my overall thoughts, I think it was a bold move to change the formula, especially because it was so successful. And you had those
Yeah.
people that are like, yes, just give me more of that over and over again. And there's songs on the album that follow the formula that they did the first time, but they went in and played around with soul, with psychedelic, even like I said, even a little bit of punk thrown in there, and not just like here's another fan service album. And I'm so happy that they didn't just make another fan service album, because what you have is they have a small catalog, hopefully expanding. That's one thing we didn't talk about. I think I missed that in the history when I was going through, is they went on hiatus in 2018, but have actually reunited. They did a reunion show at one of Brittany Howard's solo shows. She was playing a solo show in Alabama, and she said, "Oh, I have a friend who's going to come up." And Alabama Shakes actually came up in their entirety, except for, unfortunately, the drummer, who Steve Johnson is no longer with the band. They did boot him out because he was he pled guilty to domestic abuse charges. And
that'll do it.
And they're not going to associate with him. It's not like, okay, he was accused, but he was innocent. No, he was actually guilty and spent, I think it was 18 months on probation. So when it comes down to it, they're reuniting without him. I don't know who's going to drum. I don't think they've actually played any of the reunion shows yet. I know I have my tickets for San Diego in August, so I am very ready for that, especially now after listening to this album over and over again. I am so into this show, and it's funny because my wife had never heard of them before this album. I had played them, but it's a lot of playing that first album on my headphones or in my car. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh man, you got to get me a ticket. I need to be at this show too." So it went from I need to see this one with you, which unfortunately it's sold out. But I said, that's all right. We'll play chicken on all the ticket resale sites, and since we only need one, we'll find someone who's desperately trying to dump off a single at the last minute. So yeah, it's a amazing album. I mean, it's hard to just verbalize how much this album grew on me in just a week. I mean, in a week, it's kind of like, where was this album my whole life? It feels like I've been listening to it for years, and it's like, okay, it's been out since 2015. Late discovery, but better late than never.
Yeah, the best thing about this album is her voice.
Yeah,
her voice is phenomenal. I love that I love the growl. I love the deep, bluesy, sultry tone of her voice. It was just, man, it was so good, so good, so good.
Agreed. So, I think I wrote in my notes. I said her voice goes from like dog whistle high to
Yep.
growling lows, and it everywhere in between. Like she can take it up so friggin' high and
Yeah.
then just bring it down all the way low. So yeah, I agree. I love sultry. I love her
Yeah.
voice, and I also started kind of hunting down live recordings that they have online, and just like, man, that
Yeah.
voice is just, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't get enough.
Yeah. She's on point with that voice. Love it. Love
Hmm.
it.
All right, so let's dig in now. Let's dig into the best songs on this one.
Whew.
So go
Man.
ahead. What's one of your favorites? I'll let you go first, and then we can kind of back and forth.
Can I say the whole out? No.
Hmm.
Man, I really liked Sound and Color. I love the
Mhm.
opening song. Again, head bopping going on with it. You're right into Don't Want to Fight.
Yeah.
Another great song. Give Me All Your Love is a great song.
I got too many
Real,
words to say about that. When you're done, I'll say, because
all
that
right.
song, man, that's a, oh yes, I'll wait. So yeah, I
The
agreed. All three of
Greatest.
those.
The Greatest
Hmm.
is a good song. That might just become my entrance song if I would that might be my entrance song and my theme song whenever I
Yes.
walk around. Gemini is really good. Miss I there's so many good songs, but probably the greatest. I'll go with the greatest as number one. Sound and Color, Don't Want to Fight, and Give
Hmm.
Me All Your Love. That's my top four.
Yeah. So I would, with my top four. Sound and Color, it's funny too, because Sound and Color, when you first hear it, you're like, okay, what's going on? And
Yeah,
then I kind of researched a little bit about the story connected with that album, and it's a supposed to be like an astronaut waking up in space and wishing to be back seeing people again. So I mean, and I love those kind of Space Jam songs, even though like Space Jam, you think of Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan, and this one, like you get those songs, like you get oh gosh, David Bowie and Space Oddity. It's like these like astronauts trapped in space songs. They should make a genre of that, and that's going to be my new favorite genre. Although my real favorite genre is angry British. Like that's the only genre that matters in the world is angry British punk. But that's just when I hear it, I'm like, yes, I just want to yell and like do a bad British accent. But yeah, the space songs where you're trapped in space and you're just wandering and you want to get back to Earth, and like Space Oddity is one of my all-time favorite songs, and I like how this one, you don't know it at first, but then when you research it, you're like, okay, I can see that, like that kind of
yep,
that desperation, and it's a way to open it that kind of might, I wouldn't say might, definitely would have put off the people that were the mega fans of the first album.
yeah, I
They're
can
going
see.
to look at it and think, what the hell happened? Where's the blues? And then it's like, just wait. You wait 3 minutes and then
Yeah,
bam, here you go. Don't Want to Fight. That is like their like peak formula of just, it has that groove. You got Britney's voice just, coming at you on all cylinders. And that song did win Grammy for Best
Grammy.
Rock Song. So, and I looked who it was against. I'm like, yeah, Florence and the Machine, other bands like that. Like, yep, that song was the easy winner. And they did win Best Rock Album that year as well. So, the one thing I didn't mention when we were doing the history is the album did win 4 Grammys. So,
Yes, it
one
did.
won 4 Grammys, and Brittany Howard has actually done solo work, and her solo work is also done really well, winning different awards and things like that. So yeah, her success after the band has been really strong as well. But fortunately, they got back together, even with her having success, critically raved about, Grammy winning solo albums. She's still coming back to Alabama Shakes for people like me who want to now experience this album in a live setting. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited about that. So yeah, with Gimme All Your Love, that one, yeah, that one, like I said, my notes, I said there's good songs, there's great songs, and then there's songs that latch themselves onto your soul, and you can't imagine living your life without them in your head anymore. And that's
Yeah.
what that song was. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, song owns me now. It is now
Yeah.
like you put it into the Rolodex of the songs in that get stuck in your head, and they're beautiful and you want them to be stuck there. And that's this one. I mean, it's just amazing. I love the slow build of it because you get kind of that small organ, low, and then it, every time she's doing the "Give Me All Your Love," it's like he's hitting that organ with a sledgehammer now. It's like you get that hard just pounding, and then it takes it back down, and then it just builds it up into this kind of this smooth groove, and then it just takes it back down to close it out. So it just takes you on a ride, and it's 4 minutes, and oh my gosh,
I'm beating my head to it right now.
So yeah, you just hear like when she's just belting out that "Give Me All Your Love," and like that the keys are just like bam, you just imagine him like gonna break his fingers. He's coming at him so hard, and just
he's Jerry Lee Lewis, and he's standing up, pounding. Yeah,
because it's so gentle and subtle as the song's building, and then every time she hits that chorus, it's just like bam, let me attack these keys. Yep. It's no longer time to be subtle. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna have bruises on my fingers when I'm done with this one. So I just love that. I love that build. And then you think it feels at a moment like the song ended, because they give you that couple seconds of silence, and then bam, let's just come at you again with this groove that builds and builds and builds until it closes it out and brings you right back where you started. Man, that song is like, here you go, put it into your top 100 songs of all time list, and I've only lived with it for a week, so that's saying how good that song is, how well it works. And that's when the band is doing it right, when you've experienced an album for a week and you felt like you've lived with it for a lifetime. So yeah, I also said Gemini. I like that one. It's kind of the 6-minute psychedelic slow burn space jam, which is not going to fit their old MO. And that's going to be the thing that would probably alienate the ones that want that rinse repeat from them. But yeah, I love it. It's some great instrumental segments. And for me, I thought this song would have been perfect moved as the closer. I mean, not that
I agree.
It ends well. I'm not saying anything about how it ends, but it kind of could have been bookended, where it could have started with a spacey psychedelic jam and closed out with one. But I mean, it closes beautifully still, but this, I think, would have been a perfect bookend for the album. It's not like they dropped the ball. It's not like, okay, the Jethro Tull, where you close out with kind of a duller instrumental song and you open with a song that becomes two of our skips. The sequencing doesn't hurt the album, but I think it could have really made it stronger to start and end with the psychedelics.
I agree.
So then what else did I have? I had that one, and then I also had I listened on Spotify. I didn't buy the expanded edition on vinyl. Now regrets. I wish I would have, because the songs Joe and Someday on the expanded edition are so damn good. It's like those are like A-side songs. They don't feel like throwaway B-sides. I think what probably got them sent there was the fact that they both feel more like the first album. They don't have that more experimental style. It's more, I said swampy blues is what they felt like, and that just great songs, and they're not even on the proper album. So did you play those ones at all?
I played Joe.
Yeah, Joe is solid. I'm like, damn, that is good enough to be on the album, and
wish it was
10 times over. Yeah, I wish it were, because I didn't buy the expanded, and it was only a few dollars more, but I'm like, I bought a lot of albums that I'm not going to be spinning that often. And it's like, am I going to spend $5 or $10 more for something that I'll barely play? So now, of course, I look back and think I should have, but what if it ended up another one that's kind of like, all right, that one's going to sit there and be a dust collector on the shelf. This one won't, but it could have been. We just don't know. So yeah, that one, those two, even though they're just, not A-sides. I mean, that it was expanded edition, I think, that came out the year after, because that was when CDs were kind of on their last deathbed. People still bought CDs, but not often. So the record label would take one album and release it 4 times. Like, here is the expanded version. Now here's the expanded version with some live tracks. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, let's milk it while we can, because they saw the writing on the walls. I mean, streaming was going to crush them, and did. But yeah, it's one of those things that they would get as many repeats, and it's like, damn, the fact that those aren't even album tracks is amazing.
Aqualung is a great album, Woody.
Okay.
Aqualung is a great album.
Yeah, so there we go. Aqualung. And it's funny, I was digging through my albums. I was finally sorting, because I have like a first impressions little shelf that's not sorted alphabetically, and I was putting the Jethro Tull albums back. I'm like, oh, I own Aqualung on vinyl. I didn't even know. It's probably one of those things where I happened to run into the record store and pull up Aqualung and say, all right, cool, I'll buy that. It's probably like $5. I can't imagine I dropped too much on it. But I'm like, huh, what do you know? I actually own Aqualung. And
now I'm going to have
that's my favorite Jethro Tull album for sure.
Now I'm going to have to do now you got me. I'm going to have to do a first impressions shelf. I have to build. I'm going to get build a new shelf, put it on there.
Yeah, because everything else I try to sort alphabetically, but it's like I know these ones I interact with more, because we have to listen to them for the show. And yeah, I have my little first impressions shelf. But yeah, I look and see there's Aqualung on my shelf, and yeah, that's. If I'm going to revisit a Jethro Tull album, that's the one I'm going to revisit most often for sure. And you know, some tracks, I don't know how much. I mean, I guess if it's Christmas time, you toss on the Christmas one. I'm not busting that thing out in April, but I'm not busting out any Christmas album in April.
No, Christmas in July. We need a Christmas in July album now.
There we go.
Show Christmas in July show.
Christmas in July, yeah, because we already know. We already got Sharon Jones with a Christmas album, so we already know which one we're covering. But I guess Christmas in July, and then what happens in December, we'll find something. It's not like it's hard to find a Christmas album to pick from. There's infinite ones, and good, bad, and otherwise. Yeah, so let's see what is our next category. We're going to talk about best lyrics. So what were some lyrics that grabbed you on this one?
Well, I never meant to be the greatest. Let me tell you, the greatest, man. I love the way that starts out. Now, everybody's going to be like, why is that your theme song? Because of that line right there. That's it. But the rest of the song is really good. Should I stay away? I know you ain't out there trying to be my baby. God help us. I just love the way that the greatest is put together. The lyrics just flow so well. That's a good one. Obviously, Sound and Color. Sound and Color will me in my mind. Sound and Color, try to keep yourself awake. Sound and Color, this life ain't like it was. I mean, just keeps going. And I love the way it just Sound and Color sounds. It's so good. And then I'm gonna break it down for you guys. Give me all your love. I mean, this thing just bangs from first line. So much is going on. Because so much is going on. So tell me what you want to do. You say the world doesn't fit with you. Why don't you talk to me for just a little while? I can only try to make it. Give me all your love.
Yeah. And it's like when you read the lyrics, you can't quite appreciate that so much of this, because we did talk a little bit backstage where lyrics were harder to find because so much is just her delivery. She could take like, I'm going to read the first 5 names from the phone book, and I'd be jamming to that shit. It's like, damn, this phone book fucking rocks.
Ron is, you're just going to be enamored with Aaron's name because she just sings it. And yes, the first 5 names in the phone book. That's funny. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm buying that album. I mean, I'm like, shoot, first day. I'm pre-ordering it right on their website so I can get my fancy colored vinyl version of phone book of Brittany Howard Sings phone book, because I need that. So that's some of the lyrics I grabbed. I got from Don't Want to Fight, where it says, I take my hand, put in your hands, the fruit of all my grief, lying down ain't easy when everyone needs pleasing, I can't get no relief, Living ain't no fun. The constant dedication, keeping the water and power on. There ain't no money left. Why can't I catch my breath? I'm going to work myself to death. I'm like, facts. I feel you. Like some of those days you're just dragging yourself to work so you know that the power is going to go on and you're going to have your children are going to have food to eat. So it's like, all right, Brittany, I feel that one right there. So yeah, I liked in Gemini as well. And in your eyes, I see the dark inside of you. Woke from dream, pulled up like weeds. Never knew no better. There were no such thing. I reached for you like a child that clings. Oh, how we saw in each other everything. And then I just love her delivery of everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like warped and just damn it, so good.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. Like, all right, we're gonna just like stumble over ourselves, just saying it's good. Okay, trust me, just play it.
Trust me, it's good.
Yes, and this one, unfortunately, another expired download card. The epidemic of vinyl now, because we would have been able to play it for you before the show, but with another lovely expired download card, it wasn't able to happen. But you can get Spotify, you can search it out on YouTube, and I highly recommend you do so because this album is well worth your time. So yeah, both of us are on that for sure. So let's see. Shoegaze, I had that one too, where she said it ain't no fun to be alone then. The hours of the night are too lonely, and I begin to realize that I can't have everything. Why can't I? So yeah, when you have that moment where you're suffering and alone, and it's just again having me say it, it doesn't do any justice because it's all about the delivery of these lyrics and the way she just belts them out to a point where, like I said, up to the highest dog whistle highs into this growling swamp blues low and everything in between. And you need to experience these lyrics with her voice because it's not the same with just the two of us saying these lyrics.
Yeah, it's like listening to Billie Holiday, Etta James. Man, when she sings, your attention. Like if I was at a live show and she started singing, I'm not going to care about the drummer or the guitarist or any of the other instruments. My eyes are going to be focused on her because she is a attention getter.
Yeah,
and she knows how to. She's good at her job.
Yeah,
and yeah, man. I'm gonna have to get the first album and her if she has singles out there.
Her solo albums. Her solo albums, from what I've heard, and this is again, I talked to the people who loved the first album, and they were like, "Oh, they're just experimental and horrible." But I don't trust them anymore. I'm done trusting those two that I put too much stock in their opinions, and it's fine. Opinions can be argued, but my opinion is you were wrong, and now I got to go pick up those albums. And yeah, I mean, we did it before. I put up one of the songs from the Cure show that I recorded. So I will get a song from the show that I recorded because they actually play like Give Me All Your Love was played at that show, but I didn't quite realize they were playing some of these new songs that I ended up loving. But the problem with that show, and this is where I want to get a time machine and smack two fuckers in the head, the two people next to me, these guys literally talked through the whole show. I'm like, are we watching the same show, you dumbass? How often? I mean, this is an experience. What if they never got back together? And they're going to be like, yeah, I remember I saw Alabama Shakes. It was great. I'm like, fuck you. You just talked. That's all you did was talk. So you can go to hell. You ruined the show for me because I didn't revisit it. I didn't revisit it for years because the recording was from 2015. I'm like, why wouldn't I revisit this one? And then I start hearing their jabbering mouths through the whole show. It's like, why would you be inspired to converse right now, except for maybe a holy shit when she hits one of those notes or does one of those things. But your conversation, because especially in any of the quiet moments, they found it perfectly appropriate to just chatter. And I'm blown away that anyone would go to one of their shows just to talk. But that's my peeve. Like, fuck those guys who talk through a show. So, yeah.
Yeah, don't talk to me during the yeah, don't talk to
Yeah,
me.
I mean, it's one thing, like I said, if you're like, oh my God, this is my favorite song, I'm so excited. That's different. I mean, and I'm not even going to begrudge those ones who want to go to the show and sing the whole time because at least you're in the moment. I mean, granted, your voice is going to suck compared to Britney, so shut up. But at least it's passion of the moment that you're feeling. Having a conversation, that's not passion of the moment. I dealt with that this weekend. This woman next to me was talking to her husband about the show, and she had her husband on speakerphone, and that's the whole thing anyway. Just talk in your fucking phone. I don't need to hear your conversation. But all right, there we go. Tangent of the night. There's always one. So yes, turn your cell phones off. You need to listen to it. Unless you're like 80, all right, fine. Do your thing. You can't hear it that well. Play it on speaker. But she was younger than me, and she's blasting it on speaker, and I'm hearing her conversation when I'm supposed to be listening to the band I played for. But, oh well.
Yeah.
Can't go back in time, and that'll be like, all right, don't need to revisit that recording either. So, Swamp Blues. It's not Swamp Blues, like Swamp Blues. I would say kind of sultry, but she doesn't. It's more like the growl and like this desire. It's hard to describe it. I call it kind of swamp blues because it feels like if you threw some, dirty falling apart blues club in the middle of the bayou and it's just on stilts in the swamp and you got to take a little like boat to get to it. That's the music that's going to be blasting out of it. So
Right.
couch metaphors once again, their revenge. So yeah, it's similar. I mean, this is where it drives me crazy that we can't play clips because you could get kind of that idea, but then the show would be ended prematurely because the one thing they don't allow you is to play those audio clips, and it would be beautiful. But we'll see. I'll talk to Pops and I'll see if he can do kind of a retro playback of the album where it's like, okay, even though you have already talked about it, here we're going to play it again, and you're welcome. And yeah, it's just like I said, whenever I start listening to music, if it's doing its job and I'm not like, damn it, this sucks, and I start feeling angry inside, if it's doing its job, I start to imagine things. And that was what I imagined. I'm listening to this song and I just imagine just kind of like you're going down, you're canoeing yourself to this, the one club everybody needs to get to that's in the swamp, and Brittany Howard is busting out that song in the swamp. So yeah, it's hard to describe it. And if you follow my YouTube, I will definitely post up some of the recordings from the show, and then you too can feel the urge to punch two idiots next to me. So we can join together in our hatred of those two assholes who didn't stop talking. We can think, all right, we want to all get a time machine and slap a muzzle on them, but fortunately, time travel's not ready yet. When it is, first thing I will do is muzzle those two dudes and then slap that phone out of the woman next to me.
That's funny.
All right.
I don't care who you are. That's funny.
So let's talk about skips. Did you have any skips in this one?
Not a single one. Not a single one. Like I said, there's some moments, but not, they're very few and far between that I can get over it because the rest of the song just her voice.
Yeah.
So no, there's nothing I would skip, and just kind of like what we talked about, or like you said, maybe change a few of the sequence up. But even if you don't, I'm not. This is an album that I will listen to over and over again because there's no skips. You can just play it over and over again.
Yeah. So the only one I got close to skipping was Guess Who, and it has kind of an almost underwater production to it, and almost sounds like it's being played on an AM radio. And then I went out and did the run test, and my pace increased by like 20 seconds a mile because it has this kind of like this bouncy rhythm. I'm like, never mind, it's not on the skip list because that just made me faster. Now it went from the skip list into my marathon mix, which is songs that have a tempo that really get you moving and keep you moving. So it went from maybe I'll skip this one to not a chance I'm skipping it. It's going right into the marathon playlist. So when I run my next marathon in November, it will absolutely be played on that list because I just all of a sudden I'm like, wow, my tempo is matching this song and I'm moving and the song is moving. So it went right away from the skip. So that was the only one that was close. And after listening to it, it's off the list. Like nothing's getting skipped. And it's beautiful when you get one of those no skip albums because they're rare. I mean, even some of my favorite albums have skip moments. I mean, in this one, the full expanded edition, I don't even remember the name of the first song on the expanded one. And that one would have been a skip, but it's not an album track. So you don't really count it the same. So if it's a B-side, you don't really think about skipping it. Kind of like when we did Godspeed You Black Emperor. We had no skips, but the expanded vinyl, I would have had the skip. But it's like, they're not album tracks. The album itself is just spectacular. It's like, all right, I'm going with those 5-star reviews. Not Rolling Stone in there like we can't give you more than 4 stars unless your name is Neil Young. It's like, all right, come on, Rolling Stone, get your shit together. You just like you can see what artists they want to slurp up to so they can maybe get an interview or something, but everyone else gets 4 stars. Whether you're great, mediocre or in between, 4 stars, the Rolling Stone standards. All right.
Yeah,
so
that's
easy category now. Keep it or return it to the used bin. I think we've said enough that you're not going to have a hard time figuring this out, but let's make it official.
5 stars. 5 stars. I'm keeping it. This is a play over and over again. So this goes. Mm-hmm. This album moves to the front of the lineup, into the front lineup or albums I play over and over again. Yeah. And so definitely keeping it. 5 stars. Great album.
Here we thought Portishead was the easy winner for what was going to be the best album we've covered this year, and the Alabama Shakes are like, excuse me, sirs, but we got something else for you. And good luck, because at the end of the year, we'll have covered a pretty good chunk of albums, and we're gonna rate them. We're gonna kind of do our regular end of the year show where we talk about new music that was released in 2025, and then we're gonna talk about the albums we've reviewed. And that way, you hopefully by the time that that comes out, everyone will have had a chance to listen to those albums. I'll talk with Pops. We can get something out there where we can get them all played in maybe the week before the show. And then we're going to wrap it up, and we're going to talk about our favorite moments and our Kate Bush moments of the year 2025. So,
the Kate Bush and Taylor Swift moments.
Yeah. Taylor Swift, I don't know. I don't know. See, now I'm trying to think ranking through this list. So it'll be fun. Once we get there, we have all the albums. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, you got chastised on Kate Bush. I got chastised on Taylor Swift. So
we both took our lumps.
Yeah, we probably should have some outtakes. I wish, man. God.
Yeah. So there we go. We can have some outtakes. We can pull that because you got bashed, but it wasn't on the live feed, or else we wouldn't be putting all those comments up. And the Kate Bush lambasting that I took was also not on the live feed. So had it been, I would have posted it. I would be happy to let her opinion be known if she did it on the live feed.
That was a master's thesis, a dissertation, if you will.
My hat's off to her and her. If you're going to take me down with that much style and grace. I appreciate you. So if by any slim chance in hell that woman is still listening to us, then, I commend you and I appreciate you. So, yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I would like to argue with you because I know my wife is listening. Of course, that is not a true statement. And my lovely wife would never chastise me. It's only angry women from the internet that hate me. My wife wouldn't do such things. So, yes. Hi, if you're out there. And I don't know. I know she's busy tonight. She's out with some friends, and then I'm going to go mind the 14-year-old party out in the living room and go pick up pizza such fun
Nice.
things. But yes, we're not going to say you're wrong, but only about my wife you're wrong, and angry ones on the internet, because Dash took a proper beating. I mean, it was good, but it came after the show, so none of the comments were there. Mine, I mean, you could go to the Kate Bush episode, you can read her thesis, and you can see why I'm awarding her master's degree in kicking my ass, and she is the winner.
She was angry. She was angry.
And see, I love it because, that much passion. I love that you're passionate about music, because I listen to some music that people hate. I listen to bands my wife hates. I listen to music that other people hate, and it's cool. I will argue with them, but I also know that it's just my opinion, and you can hate them, you can love them, but yes, that was the best. So yeah, it's curious. I'm now thinking, like, what's the bottom going to be? The bottom's easy, but how do we climb from the bottom? Because I know,
right?
You weren't feeling Lady Gaga very much, and
that was all right. Yeah.
Because you didn't hate it. I mean, it comes down to, we're gonna see, because we thought we had an easy pick for number one, but we have a lot more albums to cover. I mean, we probably won't do 52 weeks this year because we have vacations and things like that. But we'll do probably, I would guess, like 35 to 40 albums, and we have some crazy stuff coming up. But one of them in particular is completely bonkers. So yeah, there you go. Just like your opinion, man. But she articulated it so beautifully. Her opinion was so well stated. Who the hell was I to argue with her? And I just, I said, thank you for your passion.
Thank you for your passion.
I will never fight I won't even call her a troll. In her mind, I'm the troll. I'm the dickhead who was making fun of her favorite artist, and I'm going to slap him around with my words, and you did a good job. I feel the sting still. I probably will. Like, in 2 years, we're going to be talking about my Kate Bush beating that I took, and it will always be near and dear to my heart. So thank you for that. I'm sure that's not what you were going for, but we commend you. And, if only my students, when they exit my class, write with the passion that you write, then I will have done my job. But I am, after all, 10-year-old teaching 8-year-olds, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right. So we have covered this album. You need to listen to this album. It's as simple as that. Go on it. Seek it out. You can find it on YouTube. It's there. You can find it for free. You'll have to listen to ads, but it's worth it. But you know what? Just go buy the album. Buy the vinyl. You can't have mine. I'm keeping it. Kate Bush still for sale.
It's not too expensive either, so go get it.
Yeah, I think it was only I only paid like $18. I just wish I had paid the extra just for Joe alone. I mean, that is so damn good. But I will, if you follow my YouTube, I will drop a few live tracks from that show. I will try to find the ones that they actually shut up for, because they weren't. I think they went and got a beer a couple times. That was like the best parts of the show for me, when they actually left. But I will post up a few of them, and even if they have a little chattery, I mean, just to hear how she just belts "Give Me All Your Love," and then "You Ain't Alone." Goodness, that song was so strong as a closer, and that's on their first album. But
I'm gonna have to check it out.
It's worth your time. You need to pick that one up, and that's, like I said, that's what I knew. And then people said, "Oh, you don't want to listen to the second; it's just not very good." So they were wrong, but that's all right. We got to discover it on the show. So it took a few years, but we still got there. So next week, we'll see if I survive. Next week, it is Joe, the smoker you drink, the player you get. I know one song from that. Like I bought the album. It was a cheapie on eBay. I think I paid like $4. So
$4.
In the end, I'm not gonna cry about how much I had to spend on it, but will I cry about its 70s vibe? I don't know. Was it 70s or 80s? I don't even know.
Definitely 70s.
See, you do this to me. So yes,
told you.
Are you ready? If you're a 70s fan, I expect a dissertation on why I'm wrong. No more of this one sentence bullshit. I will not tolerate that. I won't even listen to your criticisms with one sentence. So start preparing to tell me why I'm wrong about the 70s, why I'm wrong about Yacht Rock, I'm not, and why I'm wrong about
Yacht Rock rules.
Yes. And if April were here, she would second that, but I think she's probably doing her thing now. Watched us in the beginning, but yes, you can tell me. I'm sure Dash is going to appreciate the album and its 70s vibery. But that, I mean, who knows? I might, I'm ready for that moment where I drop the needle. I'm like, damn, all this time I was wrong. And I don't know. I mean,
Hey.
my dad listened to Joe Walsh a lot when I was younger, and I never had any particular negative feeling. So maybe this one will be good. And it's just, this is the one album of his that I don't know. I know the one where he looks like he's kind of underwater on the cover on one of them. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
which one that is,
Yeah.
but I know that album. I played it. I heard it a lot when I was a kid. What it is, I don't know. So, yeah. So no
I
one.
think
Yeah.
that is. But seriously, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where he's underwater.
Okay. So that one I know. My dad played that one when I was younger. So I know that album. And then he has the album with that Life's Been Good on it. I know that one as
Yes.
well. Those are the two I know. But this one, Rocky Mountain Way, I know that's on it. So that's cool. You got to hand the beers to him. So at least you got some victory. If you could have seen Joe Walsh, but you saw someone else. And I have seen Joe Walsh once. I guess we can get into our history. But I saw him.
I saw him once.
Not with the Eagles, but as a solo act. It was a benefit show. And I went to see Ben Harper, but Joe Walsh was headlining. And it's kind of like, I'm already here. I may as well enjoy the show. But talk about the talkers that ruined the show. That show was just, it was played in a restaurant and people just talked and ate and ignored the bands that were playing, and all of them were playing acoustic. So it was literally points where you couldn't hear the band over the banter in the crowd. So that one goes down as one of the worst that I've had to deal with. So yes, people, here's your public service announcement. When you're at a concert, shut up. No one wants to hear you talk. There's a bar. You can go talk over there. Then other people will talk with you and you can have an actual conversation that's not ruining people's concert experience.
I came to a concert to listen to music and not to you jibber jabbering.
Yes. See? Dash knows. And yeah, also, if Brittany Howard's singing, you don't need to sing along because trust me, it's not going to be the same. And if you're the next Brittany Howard, I'll go pay for you to play your own show. I want to hear her do the singing. But
definitely don't sing over her, please.
No, she's got that once in a lifetime voice. So we want to hear her singing. But yes, I will be posting up. I'm going to actually throw my YouTube link in here so you can see it. Because if you're not following it yet, like I said, I will add at least one or two live tracks from this show or from the Alabama Shake show that I recorded in 2015, and I will get those up on the YouTube. So if you want to hear what they sound like, and seeming so far that we haven't been hit with any copyright with my live stuff. In fact, The Cure is that this is copyrighted material, but the band permits it. So we did put what is it? What is the song? Now I'm trying to remember. The I Can Never Say Goodbye, which was Dash and I both in our top list of the songs on it. There is a live version of that I posted up on my YouTube, and I'll start getting good at that. If I've seen any of these bands perform and I do have recordings of them, I'll start adding them to the YouTube. I have the entirety of that Soccer Mommy show that I talked about, made me a fan of hers. I have that. So I'll start getting these things posted up. So if you want to hear, the live versions, you can hear that. Because to me, when someone can sing like Brittany Howard, you want to hear her live because the voice just goes up to a new level of amazing when she's singing it live. It's like almost like the studios is handcuffs on her that she can't fully unleash. So I will definitely be dropping some of those up there and let you get a chance to listen to those. But next week, I return to the 70s because that's my vibe.
70s.
So yes, it's back. We never truly escape the 70s. We only take small vacations, but that's all right. That's the fun because I think Pops probably would like Joe Walsh, and he'll tell me why I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
Pop-
He told me why I was
Pop-
wrong on 38 Special, but yes.
Pops definitely loves.
Let's
it.
see. Yeah, if he's tuning in, I know they were having some storms in the area, but if he's tuning in, he can tell us if Joe Walsh is something he likes or not. But as always, we're going to close it out with a few of our amazing sponsor ads, some great Kickstarters that are out there or coming soon. So let's take a look. All right, sponsor number 2. Let's check them out. And that one, I mean, it looks so good. I love the art in that one. So I think it's May it's coming out. So I will definitely be heading over to that Kickstarter once it finally drops. So yeah, we're getting closer to May, but yeah, it's a beautiful trailer, beautiful artwork. I'm ready for it. Maybe whoever the creator is, if you're out there, look for me. I'd love to have you on the Saturday morning show when you go live and we can talk about that book in some detail.
Absolutely.
Now, here's our final one.
It's Flip City Magazine, The Parodies, Special Edition, with savage send-ups of The Walking Dead, Star Trek Picard, Stranger Things, The Mandalorian, Guardians of the Galaxy, and more from the first 4 years of Flip City. Get Flip City The Parodies free when you subscribe in print at flipcitymag.com. The world's best satire magazine, and never, ever woke.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please seek this album out. We say that a lot. This one is well worth your time. And next week, will this be worth my time? I don't know. At least you can laugh at me as I complain about 70. So if nothing else, you'll have fun and you can tell me why I'm wrong. We expect paragraphs. But until then, we'll be back on our normal time on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Sorry, not 9 a.m. I'll be at work. 9 p.m. Eastern. So tune in next week as we discuss all things Joe Walsh. Until then, have a great week.
See ya.
The tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic.